Guns.
All right.
Guns. Guns are a large part of our lives. We have a giant wall of
Sam and I
fake
shoot
guns.
each other all the time.
I get into gunfights every morning just to exercise. Yeah, but we've done so many videos with guns at this point that we realized we need to do something new for this, and that means not use plastic guns, but use real cool guns, and that means
It says it's real cool guns.
I mean,
real
real guns.
that are also cool
Yes.
guns.
So basically, we started by going to our usual shop, Evike, and we were like, all right, let's get all our guns. And we looked at all our guns. We're like, all right, every character's gonna have their own unique cool gun. He's gonna have a G36. He's gonna have a sniper rifle. He's gonna have a MP7. And we pieced it all out, just originally going, all right, we gotta have these guns match their class. But the second stage was the cool stage, because then we had to match those fake guns to the real ones. So all the guns finally got here. We loaded them into a big old cargo van and shipped them across the country. As you can see, there's a couple we have in here. Roughly, I don't know, maybe 40 replica weapons here. Each one is different, which is the coolest part. Yeah, and we're gonna be matching them all with blank firing guns.
So apparently there's a place in New York that rents out guns for movie shoots.
Lots
and
of them.
I guess anything else that needs rented guns that shoot blanks.
Yep. So
They
we're-
have pretty much everything.
Yeah, basically what these guys do with their guns is they take the real gun and they basically install a barrel that is effectively blocked, preventing most of the gas and particles from going out the other end of the barrel. Then, with that, they give you a special type of ammunition that doesn't have a bullet in it. It's basically an entire casing with a crimped end, so that way when it explodes and fires inside the gun, no actual debris goes down the barrel. It's all just a gunpowder explosion. And what that little gas block in the other end of the barrel does is it makes it so that the gun can actually continue cycling and firing. Because without that block, the gas would just shoot out the other end and there wouldn't be enough recoil and force to cycle the next round.
Yes.
It's really cool. It's super sweet.
Still speeding.
All right, here we go. Waiting for it to settle a little bit.
Weapon is hot.
So, in Battlefield, all these classes have all these different guns. So you have your support class with big LMGs, you have your assault class with normal assault rifles, your engineer typically runs with a smaller, such as a submachine gun, and then you have your recon with some sort of long-range DMR or sniper rifle. So, one of the most fun parts of the shoot, though, was just simply picking out all the cool guns that each character got to use. Because we had all these characters, and they all got to have their own cool, unique guns. We tried to have as little repetition as possible.
And you get the real thing too, which is great.
The person we had doing that was a guy named Sparky.
Yeah.
Great name though.
His real name's Matt, but I remember the first day I said he comes in, he's like, "Hi, I'm Matt." I'm like, "Hi, Matt." He's like, "You can also call me Sparky." I'm like,
We learned to call him
okay.
Sparky after those guns started shooting off.
Yes. And he had this bus, this old school bus, painted green with a Mad Max grill on the front called the Daddy War Bus.
Yeah, he goes to Wasteland Weekend, which is the Burning Man for Mad Max enthusiasts.
And inside are all the locked containers that would hold all the guns. So he had his mobile armory that he would drive to set. And he was the man in charge. He would give each actor their weapon, and when he'd do so, he'd have it open, he'd show them the empty magazine, he'd load it for them, pull the trigger to prove that it was empty, and then give them the cold weapon. And he'd also be the one responsible for loading the weapons and giving them hot weapons, and we were going to shoot
Yeah, so since
ammunition.
blank firing weapons don't shoot bullets but are still dangerous in their own way, so he was really on top of making sure there was a good safety etiquette on set and making sure that everyone knew how their weapons functioned. And when he wasn't doing that, he'd usually be off to the side of the camera with multiple belts of ammunition just draped over his shoulder and a huge pouch just full of full magazines. So it was really cool.
One of my favorite little factoids that he told me on set is we had a couple different M249s, or basically SALs, or LMGs, and for a civilian to own one of these with all the tax stamps and regulations and permits that you'd have to pay for, each gun effectively costs $200,000.
Yeah, it's pretty bizarre because the thing is the actual equipment itself. That a big machine gun is about $10,000 to get. It's expensive, but not when you include the fact that it's an automatic weapon. It's a military weapon. You're also then modifying it so it doesn't actually shoot. So the process to even get it there on set, it's just very expensive. Months of paperwork and lots of permits and regulations and hoops he has to jump through. So it's very funny, seeing him arrive on set with just giant machine guns, like ready to blast stuff, and knowing he's actually done a lot of studying. He's got lots of licenses. He's got lots of permits and paperwork underneath his belt. And he's actually a very safe and responsible guy, despite his nature of wearing giant spikes and holding machine guns.
Yes. So we have our core group of Marines. You have Miller, the assault class of the group, with his G36 and his trusty M4. You have McNulty, designated marksman/recon, with his SR-25. You have, and eventually a SCAR. You have Haas, the pilot, who's the engineer of the group. He gets an MP7, sweet. And then you wrap it all up with Chen, the support class, carrying around good old-fashioned M249.
Exactly. A lot of guns. And
about
also,
the BMCs?
BMCs are also another cool group because we're looking at these characters who are overseas in another country, and so they're kind of not using the most high-tech of weapons, they're using more trusty ones. So we have Braddock's character carrying around a really tactical AK-47 because that's probably the type of ammunition the country uses. We have Avery's character carrying around this really cool Seiko TRG or something.
I thought it was a Lapua.
No, that's the name of the bullet. She has a sick-ass sniper rifle, naturally.
And a really sweet fully auto Glock.
Yeah, that's super cool. And then we have our Sturgis character with a Vector.
Sturgis character.
We have Sturgis carrying around a Vector, naturally. Who's our engineer? Yeah, come on, it's an engineer thing. And then you have our Marston on support for the PMCs using a M4 with a giant frickin' drum mag on there. So I think that's a good blend of, support class and, practicality. See, everything's blended. It's like you want some things to be realistic, and then you want just things to get a little goofy and just use the cool guns from the game. So it's kind of a nice little mix of both.